don't just press play and expect it to unfold.
Okay.
You need to always be ahead of the game. You need to have that mindset as a leader in the industry. Don't just be comfortable with the status quo, because what is working now may not work tomorrow. And you need to have a bit of a foresight. Obviously, with sustainability, there's a return on investment.
What do you do to make sure they feel connected to the meaning and the values that Waterbom stands for?
As a leader, I don't distance myself from them. I am them. We've had SARS, we've had 2 Bali bombs, we've had volcanoes.
Yes, of course.
We've had this, we've had that, we've had flights stopped because, like I said, volcanoes or earthquakes and so forth. So we always can never take anything for granted. You need to set the company up expecting that something else could happen, let alone we are in the ring of fire. I'm in the business of making people happy. I have them understand that they're participating in the mission. We celebrate together when we win. When an award is announced, or non-accolade based, we celebrate together. We go to cultural events together. We eat together. We talk, and I share with them the values. I'm constantly excited about the future plans, because the future plans never end. I would like people to come in there, wake up in the morning and not feel like their hours or 9 hours a day is a sacrifice.
Hi guys, welcome to yet another episode of Future Fit with Friska. And today we're going to dive into the very intriguing, interesting leadership journey of Sayan Gulino. He's currently the CEO of Waterbom Bali. And for those that you don't know, it's been the #1 water theme park, not just one, not just two, but 9 years in a row on TripAdvisor's Best of the Best. So he's transformed the Waterbom from a beloved local attraction. I actually first went there in the late 90s, believe it or not, when I was in the single digits. And now it's this global icon of not just sustainability, they've won so many awards, but of innovation as well. And so Sayan's been in Bali since he was 4 months old, stepping into the family business, starting as a teenager, working from the locker room to the operations manager, and he's been CEO for a number of years now. So under your leadership, you've won so many awards, and you've been crowned Impact Hero of the Year at the Punch Sustainability Awards this year. And I'm so pleased that you're going to be sharing some of your leadership lessons from the many years at Waterbom. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So for those that don't know much about Waterbom, give us a short spiel of what the park's about.
So Waterbom is a boutique, botanical, sustainable, non-mass market water park that is non-themed. And that's what it is. It's based in Bali, in Kuta. It's 5 hectares. And we've been around now for 31 years.
Wow, impressive. And so you've been at the helm of Waterbom as CEO for 8 years now, and nearly 17 years in total at the park. What's been some of your secret keys to success to stay relevant and thriving in a really competitive industry, right? There's so many entertainment options in Bali. So what are some of your secrets to success?
Don't just press play and expect it to unfold.
Okay.
You need to always be ahead of the game. You need to have that mindset as a leader in the industry and in the world. And if you are a leader, what's going to take you to the top there? It means that you have to be innovative. You have to always refresh the product, because in this sort of industry, and as you said, in a very saturated entertainment market, you need to always keep things fresh and change it up. And don't just be comfortable with the status quo, because what is working now may not work tomorrow. And you need to have a bit of a foresight. You need to have an intuition. You need to be aware of what is happening around you, not only in this industry, which is the water park industry, but in just the tourism, hospitality, entertainment industry as well. So having that global viewpoint will help you. So what we've done at Waterbom, it's not a rule of thumb, but after every few years, we're going to change something, either a new restaurant or a new slide or a new development. Of course, COVID put a halt to that, but we continue, and that's what's kept us relevant.
Right. And when you say, be at the forefront, do you and your team regularly conduct research tours? Do you visit other global leaders in the theme park industry? So how do you make sure that you're acting on the trends that are relevant to you?
Exactly as you said, we go out, we see what's going on, and we see what we like and don't like, and dare to be different.
Okay.
Dare to take risks,
Yep.
because in order to be a leader, you have to take monumental risks, whether it's conceptual risks, and that's what we do, right? And that's what I always strive to do, whether it's how we model it, how we, project ourselves in the world. That's what it is, and yeah.
So you've won so many awards in the realm of sustainability. Can you share the biggest challenges and the wins you've encountered on your journey towards becoming the most eco-friendly water park?
Yeah, alignment with stakeholders, alignment, costs as well. To be sustainable, there is a cost involved. But obviously, with sustainability, there's a return on investment. So convincing others around you that we're going to spend X amount on this sort of technology or this sort of policy, but there's a return.
Yeah.
Convincing the team, to be on board because we are one, right? And it's part of our culture. So there are many challenges in sustainability. And the fact is, we are at the peril of renewable energy. So as much as renewable energy moves, we move, right? We are also here on an island, harder to get access to things.
Yeah.
Huge challenge.
Yeah.
So we have this to work with, and we try to maximize that, basically. So there's many challenges, many failures. Many failures, but the failures, obviously, it's a
Stepping
cliche.
stones,
It is a stepping stone. It is a learning experience. It's an opening. It's also having that grit and that fire to not kill your motivation.
Right. Fabulous.
Yeah.
So my second book is about the Future Fit Asian organization, and it's how this region specifically really values, respects heritage and tradition, but that's often a handbrake on transformation. So it's about balancing both. So, after being at the helm for nearly 2 decades, how do you make sure Waterbom keeps fresh and keeps people returning while still maintaining its traditions, what it's known for, and that keeps returning guests coming back for what they love?
Yeah, it's a balance. It's a dance. We stick true to our values and our cultures. That's where the heritage stays, right? What is Waterbom as a character? If Waterbom was a human or it is a living entity, what is our character? Our character remains, but we just groom ourselves, metaphorically speaking. So what do we stand for? We stand for sustainability, thinking about the environment. We stand for Trihita Karana philosophy, which is harmony amongst human nature and whatever spirituality that exists. Our connectivity, our family-like nature with the team. Yes, there is hierarchy in an organizational chart, but we all know that at the end of the day, we all have a job and it's equally important. That sort of mentality, and that stays. Irrelevant to how many slides we change and move. And one of our, other components of who we are is risk-taking, as I said earlier, and changing and daring to change. That's part of our character, is not fearing change, right? So that's where that carrying on the legacy actually is relevant for today.
And, because like we were talking before we started recording, you've got quite a large number of employees, over 400 employees.
Yes.
What do you do to make sure they feel connected to the meaning and the values that Waterbom stands for?
As a leader, I don't distance myself from them. I am them. I just you look at a car, right? Every component of the car has a function. A bolt keeps the bolts keep the tires together. And that's the way I see it. And I know most of the people that are employed. Yes, there are people that come and go, and some of the people I'm unfamiliar with, but we talk like family talk, right? Obviously, I have to take leads. I have to make decisions. I have to be accountable. I have to be responsible. That is known. But I share things with the team. I am incredibly transparent with them, success and failures. And I can be very honest about things that I'm happy about or displeased about. But at the same time, I can separate that and have fun, have a joke, be part of the team. I'm not a leader that just sits
in your
far
ivory tower
away in the Eiffel Tower at the command center and just obviously there's delegations, but there's a presence, and the importance of presence is so understated, especially maybe in this culture, in this industry.
So you mentioned earlier about the importance of, that you encountered failure after failure, sustainability-related setbacks. Let's talk about grit, resilience during adversity. So especially tourism on this island, like, COVID nearly killed it. What strategies did you use to navigate these tough times, and how did you make sure Waterbom had a strong recovery?
I mean, we're built for, I wouldn't say controversy, but for force majeures, dating back from, was it 98, economic crisis here. Then we've had SARS, we've had 2 Bali bombs, we've had volcanoes,
yes, of course.
we've had this, we've had that, we've had flights stopped because, like I said, volcanoes or earthquakes and so forth. So we always can never take anything for granted. You need to set the company up expecting that something else could happen, let alone we are in the ring of fire. So we have a little bit of that paranoia embedded in us, which has kind of saved us.
Yeah.
COVID was obviously the biggest one.
Yeah.
We're talking, this wasn't just a short period of time. It was few years. We were fortunate that we are set up in terms from a funding perspective, that there was a safety net. But I had to make sure the team stayed intact. The people that are in the company, that are the face of the company, front end, back end, is the DNA.
Right. Yeah.
And for me, I did not want to lose them.
Yes.
So what we did is through, funding strategies and so forth and so forth. I don't want to get into that too much, but we retained everyone.
Right. Yep.
Unless it was, merit-based and someone wasn't performing, yes, but it wasn't because of COVID. We didn't let people go because of COVID. What we did was we cut salaries at the time in order to survive. We built a little farm and garden so that had something to do. We maintained the slides. We shut down for most of the time, so we didn't lower our operational costs and so forth. But I did not want to lose the team, because if we'd lost the team and started from scratch, it's a whole new energy.
Yeah. Too long to play catch up. Yeah.
And I'm loyal to those who've been loyal.
Right. Yeah.
And that's important. And that's culture again.
Yeah. Is there another business, doesn't have to be in Bali, that you admire that also demonstrated resilience and made a strong comeback? Who might that be?
I can't think of anybody. I mean, I've from a personal point of view, like who I look up to, besides my father, would be like Branson and his connection to the people. And I've read all of his books and stuff, and that's who resonates most with me.
Yeah.
As in a company, I mean, I'm sure if you'd give me a bit more moments, I'd think of one, but nothing.
No, Branson's. Is there something that you've learned from him that you've implemented in your own business and how you lead people?
No, it's just his connection with his people.
Okay.
His connection with his people, and we do things differently.
Yeah.
But he's in the industry of serving. So are we. We're in the industry of serving. I'm in the business of making people happy. That's the business model, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we kind of are. I see eye to eye with him.
Yeah.
And the care of the people. That's really what it is.
You mentioned earlier about how your team are everything because they provide the guest experience that keeps people coming back. So a lot of senior leaders that I've worked with, they struggle with the multicultural team element, and because they're used to having a playbook that worked for them in Australia or the US, they come to Asia, totally doesn't work. So what are some strategies that you use to inspire and empower your predominantly local team to maintain those exceptional standards at Waterbom?
I have them understand what our mission is. I have them understand that they're participating in the mission. We celebrate together when we win. Whether it's when an award is announced or non-accolade based, we celebrate together. We go to cultural events together. We eat together. We talk, and I share with them the values, and I share with them the upside of it, and that it's actually really special to work at Waterbom, and that whether they want to stay here for long term or short term, I want to make sure that their life or career life is set. I want to make sure that if they decide to move on from Waterbom and the next employer looks at his CV and said, oh, he works at Waterbom, they know who they're getting.
Yeah.
They know what kind of quality person they're getting. Of course, this is a generality. There's going to be some ups, some downs, some failures in that too.
Yeah.
But on a high level, that's what it is.
Are you leading change but constantly running into a brick wall of resistance? Maybe you've huffed and puffed, yet still not blown the house down. You are not alone. Resistance to change is one of the biggest roadblocks that leaders face. But it doesn't have to be. Imagine turning that resistance into momentum. Momentum which drives you forward. That's exactly what my free 5-part mini course will help you do. It's called Shifting Resistance into Resilience. And in just 5 lessons, I'll walk you through proven strategies to break down those walls. You'll learn how to identify the root causes of resistance, engage your key stakeholders, yes, even the stubborn and loud ones, and build a culture that doesn't fatigue with change. It actually feasts on it. Sound good? All you need to do is click the link to get started, and the first lesson will be in your inbox. Don't let resistance render you powerless. Turn it into resilience that will push you forward.
How have you had to tailor your leadership approach over the years? Like, in what way?
So we have a very young workforce.
Okay.
The average age is 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then when someone started at 25 in the 2000s, and now they're a lot older, but our lifeguards, our front office team, they're very young. So there's a generational thing.
Yeah.
So that's how I have to tailor my form of communication, understand what's important to them. Once again, talk to them, understand them, listen. What are they like? What is their mindset like? What is their philosophy like? How do they think? Understanding how they think allows you as a leader to react and then find a way to motivate them to keep on track, to keep the company going. They also know through our orientation programs what the standard is. They understand that gets drilled from the beginning.
Yeah.
Besides sustainability, which is the heart, and it's like caring beyond self, caring beyond the company. It's not just about, revenues or profits, I should say. That's what we are. But we also tell them, hey, we are at a 5-star standard. We're number 1. We have to live up to that. Now, can you step up to the plate or not? And that's that.
Interesting. Because a lot of CEOs that I speak to, they struggle with connecting with the 25-year-old somethings of their workforce. So do you have one-on-one chats with them? Is it just being curious? How do you actually understand how they think and what's important to them?
Have casual conversations with them. They still see me as their, superior or boss. But this is a very bizarre observation I have, is that during my university years, I also was very much into theater, even in high school. I loved it. And what I learned from that, and I say this to a few people, is that my theater experience has monumentally helped me in the world of business, because you learn how to communicate, you learn how to articulate, you learn how to have tonations to connect with people.
Oh, okay.
And because I'm comfortable on a stage or wherever it is, I'm comfortable to have a conversation about the weather, about food, about culture, about business with these people, and so forth. So when I learn how they are, then that's it. But you need to have the balance and having a casual conversation, not only on the work, because it's like when you interview someone for the first time, it's people can memorize their interview.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you talk and break the ice into who they are profoundly as a human, that's when you know who they are. And it's organic.
So beyond being a tourist attraction, as you intimated, not just sustainability, but community is a big part of what you do. So can you share what you've been most proud of when you engaged and supported the local community during your tenure?
I'm proud of making obviously a difference in their lives and their livelihoods, but I'm I always wish or I aspire that whatever they take away, not only from the learning experience and the functions of work or business or company, that the for sustainability. Like I always imagine someone goes home to their family
Yep.
and they can add value to their lives
Yep.
there, whether it's about learning about plastic or whatever it is. That's what I feel like I
It's
can
the ripple
contribute.
impact.
It's the domino effect. It's paying it forward. That's what I always aspire, Obviously, economic benefits is clear. It's one thing. It's very obvious for most business that that's how the impact. But yeah, helping them be a part of it, Once again, there's no separation in Waterbom.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And now looking ahead, can you share what excites you most about the future plans for Waterbom? Are there any big initiatives that you're about to launch, some expansions, some innovations on the horizon that you could share?
Oh yeah, I'm constantly excited about the future plans because the future plans never end, and that's why. And it allows me to continue growing, and it keeps me enthused, and it keeps the team enthused because you're not just a standstill, stagnant company. So what are we doing, right? So since COVID ended in 2022, we can say I've expanded a portion of the park, added new slides, F&B areas, enhanced. Now I'm finishing the kids area, enhanced that. Also pledged to be net zero by 2033.
Big commitment.
Huge. So that means the future plans for sustainability doesn't end.
Yeah.
Because we're going to, in order to be, we validated by the SBTI, Science-Based Target Initiative. In order to fulfill that, we need to constantly figure out ways to be net zero. But then also, I'm jumping into a new concept, right? I can't expose too much just yet. But I'm done expanding the Waterparks portion of it because if I expanded it, I feel it'd be addition by subtraction. Bigger, more does not mean better.
Yeah.
Right now, we're at a comfortable space where everyone can try a slide. Adding more slides is not going to increase the experience or the value of the experience.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
In fact, you're increasing margin of error.
Yeah.
And you're getting out of boutique and you're going into mass market.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that. That's not part of our MO, right? So how can I bridge and do a concept that is in the same breath as Waterbom, shares the same values, but do something different, innovative, that hasn't existed, right? So the land in front of Waterbom, which we still have empty, that's where I'm creating this whole new concept, where on a high level, I'm just going to say that we're glorifying nature. There's going to be edutainments in the arts and in the sciences.
Nice.
And nature is the hero, but we're going to glorify it.
Okay.
Make her look pretty.
Looking forward to it. And what's the time schedule anticipated for that?
I'm still, working on the concept, and it's many sleepless nights, but probably Q3 2026.
Okay.
It'll be done.
Okay.
So I need to start construction by mid-year, way earlier actually than that. But huge risk, huge, monumental risk. We're going into total unknown territory.
You know what they say, with great risk comes great reward. So,
well, yeah, hopefully that part happens.
I like about keeping your workforce like your family, like that never happens in Western countries, right?
No.
Like I remember being part of a culture change initiative, and there was a workshop and people said, oh, write down how you want to feel in the work. And someone put, I want to feel like it's a big family. It was torn down by the leadership team. It's
sad because think about the amount of time people spend at work, right? And if I was really going to get philosophical about it, just the word work is a bit, For me, if I tell myself I'm going to work, I am putting in my mind that I'm doing something that I have to do only for a living rather than for a purpose, right? And I would like people to wake up in the morning and not feel like their hours or 9 hours a day is a sacrifice. And therefore, how do you eliminate that or reduce it? And at least they're away from home make it feel like another home, a
Yeah.
second home.
Yeah.
Yes, in a family, there will be like differences, there will be disputes and so forth. And that's the reality of it. But it's real, you know, you're really keeping it real. And it's so important because like you spend okay, let's say you wake up in the morning, you're at the office at 8 or 9, you go home and it's almost dark or dark. You go have your dinner, you see your family, you fall asleep at 10. And then you're asleep, so you're not conscious of life or reality in that realm. And then you wake up and you do the same thing over again. You are spending, just look at it from an hourly point of view, you're spending the majority of your time somewhere else. Why don't you make that an atmosphere that is family-esque? So important.
Do you think it's been easier to do that because of the Indonesian culture?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Indonesian culture is very family-oriented.
Yeah.
You know, if you looked at COVID, there weren't people on the streets. There weren't any people on the streets.
Yeah, everybody, I saw the videos, people kind of laid out food and whoever wanted it could take it. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because of the compound, or in Bali, the compound culture, and the fact that the families all live with each other. You know, the grandma lives with, you know, the son-in-law. Everyone lives together in the compound. That's it. It's the nature of the community. It's the nature of the social construct here of Bali. And so it's easier. It's way easier to communicate that. People want to feel a part of something. People want to feel a part of the mission, but they also want to feel that warmth. And that warmth is what makes it more, once again, family-esque.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that everyone has to like agree with each other or be very chummy with each other, but it's just the atmosphere of this family business.
And you yourself, how do you maintain, while maintaining purpose, how do you do work-life integration? Like, I'm sure you have a life outside of Waterbom. How do you balance your mental health, your physical health with your daily duties as CEO?
First of all, I try, and it's, you know, easier said than done. I don't define or label things. So I don't see myself, like I said, going to work. I'm going to fulfill a purpose, or to enhance creativity, or to imagine, or to manage. I don't try to label it.
So you don't segregate. It's just, this is my life.
And it's hard. It's hard because you're taught to segregate.
Mm.
You're taught to segregate. This is school. This is an activity after school. This is this and that. So I try to do that, and it's generally, it brings me more peace. But besides that, it's all about balance in life. I go on long walks for 8 days by myself to disconnect because I'm so connected with 400 staff, thousands of guests per day. I do that, and I figure out I listen to what I need. You know, and I go to the gym. I'm a bit of an introvert, so I'm not too social, but I try to force myself to do that just in order to like kind of fill the gap and not end up living in a cave and away from all humanity. But I always try to listen and be in tune. And I feel a lot of people are just analytical and just here, but I sometimes have to listen to hear. In fact, this is majority right, and then this is kind of like sometimes it's noise. Convince this otherwise. You know?
Right. So we've grown up in the opposite. We've spent most of your life in Indonesia. I've spent most of my life abroad.
Yeah, interesting.
What were some key beliefs, mindsets, practices that you took from your time in the West, right? Because you did study abroad for a number of years.
More observations, like it's more practical observations, like how things are run, infrastructure abroad, you know, sustainability. I mean, like not necessarily environmental sustainability, but how does this society work? I'm just observing, and I take the good and I kind of separate the bad. I can't come up with a specific example off the top of my head right now, but it's interesting though. It's for me, from a social connection point of view, I found it a lot harder abroad.
Agreed.
Because of different values, you know, talking about having different interests. I was like, I'm an island boy, you know?
Yeah, and like, because I've been here 10 months now, and it was the first 10 days that I was here, I was invited to 2 people's houses. Some people that I've known for 6 years in Sydney, I've literally never been to their house.
No.
Yeah.
It's very
It is
different.
like a big warm hug, like living here.
It is like, it gets a little bit, everyone's in your business then.
Oh, yeah.
Then
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
bubble.
Yeah.
Then it's a bubble. Then you're like, I saw you at the supermarket the other day. I was like, and you were buying this kind of milk. Why are you drinking almond milk all of a sudden? Are you okay? You know, it's like everyone's in your business here. And so I am blessed to be able to get out and get a refresher because it is insulated.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though I've seen Bali grow
Yeah.
like spores, they're just
Yeah,
mushrooms,
yeah.
and it's a bigger population, and
Yeah.
there's more like different sort of people coming from all around the globe. It's still insulated, and I need to go out and see what the world is doing.
Yeah.
Because here sometimes you feel like, mata kuda.
Yeah, betul. Yeah. So all of my guests answer the same rapid fire questions at the end. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try.
A future fit leader is someone who?
Listens to their instincts and believes in it.
We need more of this in the future.
Conscious leaders.
Mhm.
Consciousness spreads through, for me, it's environmental consciousness. It's give and take. No, you win, someone else has to win, or the environment has to win.
Okay. And a future fit organization is an organization that?
Oof. I was going to say in a biased way. That is sustainable. That is sustainable. This planet needs it. That's it. That's my bias answer for that one.
Okay. Makes sense. Well, you've won so many of the sustainability awards. Sayan, thank you so much for coming on this podcast of The Future Fit with Friska. So glad to have you here.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.